So yeah, for these working demos, you know, the biggest thing that I want to accomplish today is mainly just keeping you or teaching you kind of like the basic side of everything, you know, just going over like her heel, sits, down, stay, place, recall, and all of that. Just because I know obviously that's not the reason that you brought her in for, was teaching her all that basic obedience, but you know, that's a very important factor when you are dealing with a behavioral case like her, just because around people in public, on those walks and everything like that, that's the biggest way that's gonna make it easy for you to kind of control her. So definitely go over that. I'll go grab her in a minute. But all in all, and I know we kind of discussed yesterday over the phone, she's done a very fantastic job. Definitely gave me some issues first couple of days, really just, you know, relationship building. Took her a while to kind of get fully comfortable here. Definitely saw the issue that PetSmart saw. You know, she did not like me trying to put her into her kennel or her crate. More so, I wouldn't say she tried to snap up at me, but there was a lot of times where she would try to jump up, grab onto the leash, kind of tug it, get a little snappy. But after a couple of days, you know, she definitely got over that. Now I have her just willingly walking right in and out of the kennel. So I would say that's the biggest issue that she kind of gave me. But then once she got comfortable with me, you know, she's a very excited, playful, sweet dog. You know, I'm sure I'm seeing a lot of the dog that you see regularly at home. Took her a few days to kind of get there, but like I said, you know, I think definitely, obviously, as me being her main trainer, she took to me first, but then just started getting very affectionate with me during training sessions, you know, a lot more comfortable, starting to play with me, take treats and everything like that. So, you know, that's when the obedience come into play, and then she started enjoying working for me and everything like that. Very smart dog, learns very quickly. You know, definitely still some stuff that I want to address with her obedience-wise that we'll accomplish into this next week. But, you know, biggest thing that I'm happy about is just seeing, you know, just how much more confident she is, you know, how much more social she is around people, obviously, was the biggest deal. She's done fantastic in our daycare yard, very confident, sweet, running around, having a good time around all the other off-leash dogs. So I think that's the biggest accomplishment that we've seen so far, is just, you know, how much more open and inviting she is to just allowing people to approach her, socialize with her. So I'm very, very happy with where she's at right now.
Good.
Who is that? Yep, and that's kind of the temperament that I'm talking about. You know, I don't want her instantly kind of losing this control based off the association that she has, just verbally or visually seeing you. Hey, Xela. Xela. Hey, Hey, sit. Good girl. Go say hi, Xela. She might be a little tiny wet still, but that's just from her bath today. Settle, Xela. Settle.
Oh, Xela.
Settle.
Oh, yes, it is.
Like I said, you know, I want to spend this session that we have together, you know, our working demo, mostly just kind of going over the basic side of things that I keep talking about, and then next week we'll kind of get more into our behavioral issues. But right now, getting into our healing, which is just our nice loose leash calm walk. Over the last couple of weeks, I've taught her heel to be on our left-hand side, meaning she's gonna start to understand tracking my left leg. But now, with healing, it's not necessarily just the action and the motion of us walking. Heel is more so a position, and it's the position that I want her to stay held accountable to being in when we are actually moving. So Xela, sit. Yes, good girl. So for a textbook heel position, so even though I'm not moving with her right now, she's still technically in her heel command. But for my appropriate heel position, I'm gonna typically look for the dog's front shoulders to be nice and parallel with my left leg. I want her body to be nice and straight with my body, not too far in front of me, not too far behind me. So now that she's kind of went into the stand, she's still in that same level of heel positioning. So heel, come on, yes. And since she's a left-sided heel dog, she understands tracking my left leg, like I said. So I want to make sure every time I step off that heel, I'm always stepping off with my left leg first. But now, once we begin moving, it's just all about keeping her held accountable to staying in this heel position. So definitely today, just kind of want to focus on fine-tuning a lot of things. You know, in general, especially going into this third week, you know, in the facility, she's been doing a fantastic job. But, you know, biggest focus that I have been kind of focusing on the last week of her training is kind of based off of, you know, how bad she struggled in our working demo, working around dad. Separation anxiety is very, very bad. I don't want to say they have a bad relationship. You know, obviously Xela loves the crap out of her dad and vice versa, you know, but it's kind of unhealthy, the mindset that she gets into when she sees the dad. It was very difficult for me at first to kind of control her, and she kind of just loses her mind, I guess is a good way to put it, you know. Very controlling and kind of just frustrated, especially when I have to kind of create that separation from her dad. You know, she has tendencies of getting snappy, reactive and everything like that, but you know, I wouldn't necessarily call her an aggressive dog, especially towards dad. But there's been a few instances, you know, first time I saw it was in the check-in, you know, when I had to first take her back to bring her back away from their dad, but then it happened a couple more times in our working demo, and it just seems like, you know, when she sees the father, you know, she just wants to be with him and only him. She would be struggling a little bit, and I would want to take Xela away to kind of just, you know, demo a little bit more stuff. She would get super, super frustrated, kind of bark, get snappy, react, and a lot of time when I was pulling her away from the dad, she would kind of snap and get frustrated towards him. And again, I don't think she's choosing to be aggressive. It's just all that frustration and the separation anxiety just kind of gets her in this over-aroused state of mind. And again, you know, it's kind of been tricky for me to work on that here because obviously I don't have the dad to kind of work her through it. But, you know, I've kind of picked up on a lot of those signs and similar behaviors just in a different kind of environment. And a big thing, and I noticed it's kind of got worse, you know, after she saw her dad coming into this third week. You know, before that I had pretty much under fully control. But a lot of the time, you know, if I go to kind of put her into her crate, and this was obviously one of her biggest issues coming in, or her kennel, you know, and I'm in there, she's totally fine, but sometimes, you know, a lot of time when I'll go to close that door, she gets overly frustrated. So I definitely want to see if I can kind of set that up and work on that today. But biggest thing is just, you know, having her understand, you know, around all the energy, the stress, different environments and everything like that, just kind of understanding how to have that off switch and kind of feed into that control. So right now, one thing I'm going to kind of try to set her up to do is just get her back on this place bed in her kennel. Go to place. Go to place. Go. Go. Yes. Sit. Good. Down. Down. Good girl. You know, it just seemed like she was a dog that didn't like being contained, really struggled in this kennel or vice versa in a crate. And I don't necessarily think, you know, it was the association of kind of just being contained. I think it's a lot more of just, you know, obviously a kennel and a crate kind of create separation from the world, but more importantly, you know, her dad, but now that she's attached to me, you know, and I guarantee, maybe not guarantee, but right now, see, it's the second that that door goes to close when she's gonna kind of pop up, sit, down, good, yes. But I feel like it's all the same mindset with her. It's just once you kind of create that separation is when she's gonna get overly frustrated. And I've kind of just been working on it in these baby steps like this. You know, now you see I have that control. Good girl. Yes. Good girl.
All right, I'm just about to get Xela out for her last session of camp. Today is her last day, so we're gonna be kind of working through the last little bits of her reactivity, fine-tuning down on her obedience. I'm gonna be working her around a couple different distractions, just kind of working on, again, some basic obedience. Again, today is her last day. She goes home tomorrow. So we're just gonna start by getting her out of the kennel. Good girl. Free. Good girl, yeah. I pulled her out one other time this morning and she did really, really good for me. So again, I'm just gonna keep it nice and simple and fun for her, using lots of pet praise and verbal praise. Xela, come here, come here. Oh, come here. Come here. Yeah, good girl. Wow, good girl. I like to usually start with a little bit of praise, just to kind of get our relationship a little bit better. I have worked with her quite a bit, but not as much as Chase. So I usually like to start a little bit more fun, just so I can keep a good relationship with her. Come here, Xela. Yo. Good girl, yeah. Again, I like to keep my energy up a little bit higher for her, just to keep her obedience really fun and bouncy. Sit. I try and use very little correction with her, just to, again, keep our relationship nice and solid. Yes, good girl. In between her obedience, I also like to give her some pets and loving, just to, again, keep it a little bit more fun for her. Xela, come here. Yeah, good girl.